Hello everyone, my name's Suzanne and I garden and grow cut flowers in Devon in the UK. And this video is one of a series of videos that is going to be all about growing, well actually the growing bit probably isn't in it, but creating all the arrangements and bouquets and buttonholes for my friend's wedding. So this video, the very first one, is going to be a little bit about the logistics of doing it, the mechanics I'm using to make some of the arrangements, how I know how many stems I'm cutting, and I'm going to go and take you along with me while I cut the flowers. And then we'll have videos thereafter that will be the arranging. So anyway, enjoy the video. It's Tuesday. I'm just got in the car. I'm just going to leave work now. I've got to cut these flowers for this wedding. Really, I want to cut the majority of them tomorrow, which is Wednesday. The wedding is on the Friday. But there's no way I can cut 700 stems tomorrow and go to work. I've not got to work a full day tomorrow, luckily. I do have to go to work, so I do need to cut some things tonight. And I think the sorts of things I want to cut are a lot of the foliage. So I'm going to go to my parents now to get, they've got a lot of hedgerows and woodland and things like that. So I'm going to go and get, I did write down actually in my pocket how many stems, what I need to get from them. So I need to get 20 hazel, 20 hornbeam, 36 snowberry, 20 ivy, and then I might just take a few bits of spirea, maybe some betony. I don't necessarily need that, but I might use the betony as a replacement for my toadflax, because I looked at my toadflax this morning and it didn't look great. So anyway, I'm going to head over there now. It'll be just over 100 stems, so that means I'll still have 600 stems to cut tomorrow. I was feeling okay about it, and I've been complaining about it being really dry for ages, but we've had so much rain today that I'm a little bit worried now about some of the damage to some of the petals. So I don't think I'm going to be able to cut any Lavatra. I looked at it this morning and the petals are all just really damaged. I'm praying that I'm going to have enough roses. And then I think a lot of things will hopefully be okay. Things like the cornflowers and the ammi and things. But anyway, we'll find out in the morning, I suppose, when we go and cut those. But I just wanted to... I'm going to try and make this video. It will be more than one video. I'll do it as several videos. So I just wanted to almost show the whole process. So if if you're thinking of doing your own wedding flowers, you think about things like how many stems you can cut in an hour. And I'm not very quick. I'm slow. So I think I worked out if I did it at my slowest, it would be something like 10 hours. So I need to do it at my quickest. So anyway, I'm going to head over and cut these stems of foliage now. Keep watching. That took me a lot longer than I thought. I've only cut about 100 stems. The weather, I mean, look, we need rain, it's great. But couldn't it have rained once I'd cut the wedding flowers? So anyway, tomorrow we'll just have to pray that stuff's not too battered. I mean, I was just looking, I was going to get some oxeye daisies from my dad's, but they're just all on the floor, but they've been completely bent. It's okay because I've got my bigger daisies at home, so it's not a problem. I was just going for sort of the daintier look. I see my wrist support's drenched as well. So anyway, go home now and cook some dinner, and then I cut the Greek cress this morning. And that's really fiddly to take the leaves off. So when I've had dinner, I might go in the shed and do that. But no rest for the wicked. The reason it took me a lot longer than it should have was just because actually finding leaves that didn't have holes in it or didn't have rust on them, or I don't know if it's because it's drought, but I was, I don't want to use I know that you can have some imperfection in forage leaves, but I wanted them to be as good as I could find them, so it was just taking me longer to find the leaves that I wanted. Okay, I'm back from my mum and dad's now. I've dried off once and got wet again. My sleeves are all wet. I hung my coat up, but it's actually stopped raining now, so I took the opportunity to go in the cutting garden and sort of, I've got my list of everything that needs cutting here, and I wanted to go and have a look at the damage. And although the AMI is really flopped over, it's okay, there's no breakages. There are a few things I think might be not short stemmed, but I might not have enough of, because they're a bit damaged, not necessarily by the rain, but got a bit of bug damage. So I really wanted the Nigella to be a real heavy feature in this wedding. How many Nigella do I want? 22. I don't think I'm going to have 22. So I might have to just add in, I'll cut what I can, and then however many stems short I am, I'll add something else in similar. And the other thing that's going to be a huge problem are the roses. So roses, I needed 25 roses, and I really wanted the buttonholes and the bridesmaids to have cream roses. I wanted to use mainly my Champagne Moment, and then I have a few Cream Abundance to make it up. The Cream Abundance have not taken to the weather very well at all. They've gone very brown and not very nice. And the Champagne Moment, there are a few, but it's just that they've almost finished their first flush of flowering. I've given them a shake, but I'm just going to be short because I wanted the bride and the groom to have my peachy colour roses, but it's looking like I might have to give everybody those, which sort of ruins the colour theme a little bit. It's supposed to be more purple than peachy. They're supposed to be peachy there, but it's going to end up being peachy with a hint of purple rather than purple with a hint of peachy. But there's not very much I can do about it. But it is what it is. So anyway, so this is how I've worked out how many stems I need. So I've got my bride here, I've got one bride bouquet, bridesmaids, I've got 3 bridesmaids, buttonholes, 7 buttonholes, corsages 2, tables it says 8, but I've actually got 2 extra tables which I've put on the end here, and urns 4. And then these are all the varieties that I'm going to be cutting, and the bottom column here is how many stems I need for each thing. So the bride's bouquet is 50, and I know that sounds a lot, but you've got things in there like breezer grass, which is a tiny thin stem, and there are quite a few tiny thin stems in there. So it seems a lot, but it won't be. Bridesmaids, 30 stems in each, so that's 90 for the bridesmaids. Buttonholes 8, so 7 times 8 is 56 stems just for buttonholes. Corsages, which is essentially 2 buttonholes plus a bit of something to hide the join, is 16 stems, so 2 of those is 32 stems. Tables 25, each one 10 of those, so that's 250 stems. And 70 stems in each, that's 280 stems, brings us to 698 stems. So that's how I worked out. And then I've worked out what goes in what thing. Some of the stems are real cheap stems, so they're not proper stems. So for example, for the buttonholes, one of those things is an ivy leaf, so it's hardly really a stem. And also on the buttonholes, a bract off a stock or a larkspur, so that's just pulling one of the flowers off, so that's obviously not a whole stem either. So a few things are a bit easier. So tonight I cut a lot of foliage from my parents, and I've just cut a bit of brachydottis out the cottage garden. I got my ivy leaves out the cottage garden. The 4 token bits of eucalyptus. Eucalyptus isn't really in season, and it's not something I really wanted to use, but it's if you Google Instagram or Pinterest weddings, eucalyptus is everywhere, and that's what everybody wants. So I'm putting a token bit in, and then all the flowers I will cut in the morning. I've cut my poppy seed heads and I've cut my Greek cress, but it's predominantly then flowers for the morning. Some things are looking good, so my Achillea the Pearl is looking good, and my gooseneck loosestrife is looking good. The things I'm worried about are the things that are supposed to be the accent colours. So the sweet peas, the nigella and the cornflowers, they're my purples. They're not wonderful, but hopefully I can get enough. I think it's cornflowers I need a lot of. I don't know. Oh yeah, 42 cornflowers. The biggest number that I needed was a 53, and that's the cress, which was easy, and the poppies, which was easy. So the reason I got the poppies and cress is they really want a strong sagey colour here, and obviously eucalyptus provides that, but I didn't want to use lots, so I've gone for the Greek cress and the poppies. So I'll just show you the logistics of doing this this evening, because I don't want to waste, this sounds awful, waste my time tomorrow, but basically I've got to go to work tomorrow, my day job. I've got to cut these flowers, and I want to do as much filming as I can this evening before I go in as I can. So I'll spin you around. I've tidied the work, so I've got my mirror ready for being able to look at the bouquets. I've cleared my workspace here. I've tried to clear some space here. My wrapping table, keep clear. And over here we can see some of the mechanics for what I'm going to be doing. So I've got the two larger milk churns here, and I've just duct taped the inside of the rim there. And what I'm going to do, come out here. While we're here, I'll show you what I've cut. So this is what I've cut this evening. So there's alder, a little bit of hazel, but I didn't think it looked very good quality. A lot of hornbeam, a lot of snowberry, some honeysuckle, some brilliant spirea, but only a little bit of that because it's my parents' shrubs. The brachyglottis, eucalyptus, ivy leaves, and do you know what? I'm not 100% sure what this is, but I have tested it. I did a cut last week, tested it out of water, and it seemed okay. I'm not sure, it's not a jasmine, but I'm not sure. It was just in a hedge at my parents', so I cut it. I hope it's not poisonous. And then the Greek cress here. The toe flax, I'm not sure I'm going to use. The breezer, and then that's just, I started thinking about travelling these things. So this is the jars for the table centres. This is how I'm going to travel my big milk churn arrangement. So I'm not going to travel them in the churns because my vehicle's not tall enough. So I'm going to be making the milk churn arrangements in these buckets and then putting them in these buckets to travel. So these, it took me a while to get buckets fitted because originally I tested my own milk churn, which is out in the garden, and a normal metal bucket fitted fine. But then they showed me these milk churns, they've got a much smaller opening. So these are champagne buckets with chicken wire. So that's how we're doing those. And then the smaller churns I've really struggled with, largely because one of them was really bent out of shape. So again, I've just duct taped them, and even more important for these because I'm actually putting glass vases in. So there's one. They're slightly different vases. But so the duct tape's to hopefully stop the glass breaking. And then I've planned, so the bride's bouquet will travel here. Buttonholes, I've got little files in here for the buttonholes. I've got a Tupperware for the corsages. Then these are the vases that will be on the tables. These are for the bridesmaids. And yeah, that's what's going to go on the table for the bridesmaids. So I tried to get all the practical things out of the way now. So I've also got, I did put the pins ready, but I see, oh, they're over here. As I say, I thought I'd lost the pins already. So I've got the pins for the buttonholes, the bracelets for the corsages, and my burlap for putting around the bouquet. So basically I wanted to get as much organised in here as I could, so that it makes it a bit less stressful tomorrow and Thursday. So I think that's all I was going to film this evening. I just wanted to show you my planning. I'm really hoping I can fit all in the car in one trip, but I have a suspicion that even if I use the back seats and the front seat, I might need to go twice, but we'll cross that bridge on Friday. See you in the morning. Morning. Okay, so what was it? It's 5:15. Unfortunately, I think it's going to drizzle, so I'm going to have to go in and get a coat. I'm just going to cut, but what I'm going to do is I've got a notepad in my pocket, which I'll put in my apron because it needs to be a bit more accessible, and I will make a note of what I actually cut. So then when I finished cutting, I can see where I was short and we can go and make up the numbers with something as similar as we can find. So I'll put that in my pinny. I've got my snips in my pinny. I've got my cup of tea. I'll get the trolley, get some water and get a coat, and we'll go and get started. So I'm going to cut the gooseneck loose stripe first. And it's really important that you want to be able to see at least half white on the flower there. If it's not quite half white, it's a little bit immature. Now we need 32, but if there aren't 32, then as I say, we'll have to make it up with something similar. Okay, so that's 10 of those. I'm going to switch you off now and cut the rest. Okay, so we had the right amount there, so that's 32 of the gooseneck loose stripe. Okay, we need 43 Achillea the pearl, and really you want it to be as open as it can be. I've got a feeling I'm going to end up having to cut some of the shoots off the side that aren't quite open enough to stop it going all floppy. Right, so 43. Okay, so that's 10. 43 Achillea the pearl. And isn't that beautiful? Okay, I just need 5 sedum. And really I want to cut from the white, which is the middle one. And that's because I don't use that so much when it's flowered. But it's quite nice while it's this lovely green. Probably should have pinched it a bit more. The stems are a little on the short, fat, squat, stumpy side, but they should be just about long enough for what I want, especially because sedum does exceptionally well out of water. Okay, 5 sedum. And what I'm doing, I'm trying to cut all one end of the garden at a time so that I'm not flapping around like a mad thing. So while we're here, we've got oregano and feverfew up here as well. So we'll see how many of those we need. So we need 30 oregano. But I'm just going to be checking it as I cut it because some of it started to go a bit brown. Okay, so that's 30 oregano. Now I wasted a lot of time cutting that, and I knew I would because I can't switch off my critical cutting for retail bouquet mines, so I don't want anything that's gone slightly brown. But this it's just, no one's going to scrutinise this up close. It doesn't have to have a vase life. It just needs to last for the duration of the wedding. So I had to, you know, forgive it a few imperfections. But anyway, that's 30 of it finally, but I need to try and crack on and not waste too much more time. Okay, 17 fever food. I would have liked mostly doubles, but because that's my favourite, I think that's the one I've been cutting. But anyway, we'll see how many doubles we can get. I'm not going to strip these too much apart from that one that's broken, because I can probably use some of these side shoots for something else. So as long as I strip the bit that's going to go in the bucket. I have to have you, got a lovely long stem. Okay, that's 10 from this patch. I'm just going to go and see which ones are in the other patch just behind me. 17 fever foo. And the reason I switched patch incidentally was because I knew there was some leaning over the path from the other patch, and I just wanted to cut them out of the way, really. So I need 13 Achillea, and originally I was going to cut white, and then I had to think about it, and I know you can have white flowers with an ivory dress, but I just thought I had a bit too much white. So I've got this really pale pink, so I'm just going to add that because it's not too pink, but it would just be a bit warmer. Now I should be wearing gloves for the Achillea because I react to it, but I'm not, so bigger fool me. Okay, 13 pale pink Achillea. This is what happens when you don't stake a bed. I keep going on about how I don't understand how I follow lots of flower farmers on YouTube, how they don't stake, because if I don't stake, it's a disaster. I need 6 snapdragons. Unfortunately, they're not all going to be the same colour, but there's 4 here, which I'll have. The 4 snapdragon are because I already knew I was short on larkspur. They're not what I would ideally choose, but I haven't cut the larkspur yet, but I can see from here that it's clearly short. So we'll go and see if we can find another 2 snapdragons that will sort of complement these ones. And this is what I don't like. I don't like working on the hoof for what will go with my colour palette. I think I'm going to have... I think these are the wrong pink. They're just a bit too bright pink. So I think I'm going to go with these with the hint of sort of plummy colour in them. Right, okay. And these are too far over for retail bouquets, so I hope they'll be okay on Friday. They've just started to form seed pods at the end. Worst case scenario is if they start to go over, I can come out and cut a couple more, so it's not the end of the world. But there we are, 6 snapdragons. And while we're here, we'll do the larkspur, which... how I want to get away with leaving some of the plant. So I've got to work out how long I can get away with. I can probably get away with cutting it there. And let's see. Cut you right down. She hasn't got very many side branches. I actually know these little ones I'm cutting are probably for the bride, so I need to be extra careful. Who's the most open out of you two? I'm going to cut you both and then decide tomorrow. Unfortunately, something's been eating my larkspur from the roots, I think. So the plants have just been dying off. So it's not quite as much as I would have liked, but it's better than nothing. The phlox has been in and out of this wedding so many times. I'm not sure if I'm going to find enough usable stems, but I'm going to cut it back anyway because it needs to come back again now to hopefully go in with dahlia season. So let's see what I can do. Okay, so we've got 15 phlox there, and actually because they're a bit older and they've gone a bit paler, they will actually fit with the theme a bit better. So I haven't stripped the side shoots off these yet, but I'll do that imminently. Ami's another one I'm not very good at cutting, so this might be a bit of a faff, so I might switch you off, but I'm going to cut 36 of the Ami somehow. But I'm not very good at getting into all the bits and where to cut it, because I mean for some things a stem that length will be fine, but I think I need to cut the bigger bits off, then cut the side shoots off. I almost don't know where to start. This is what I hate. Now, this is 36 majors, but I think I've probably overcut because it's so branching. I've probably got more than twice as much as I'm going to need, but it needs cutting anyway, because if you don't cut, that's it, the plant's over. So there we are, that's 36. I think that's probably the trolley nearly full now, so I'm going to go and put this load in the shed, and then I'll have a little break from cutting to feed the goats and the horses and things like that. "30 honeyworts." This is 32 of the 42 cornflowers I need, but I already cut a few of them this morning. I'm really running out of time now. I'm definitely going to have to leave the sweet peas till I get back from work. So yeah, I'll just try and cut a few more things, and then I've really got to go to work because I'm already very late. This is 10 of the 22 nigella I need, but I'm going to leave it because the sun's come out now and there are so many like in the bud stage there that I think are going to pop. So I'll wait, I think, and cut those when I cut the sweet peas. So anyway, that's 10. Okay, so the Phacelia looks dreadful. I'm never going to get any stems out of that. So I've replaced it with some candy tuft, which is pretty much nearly gone to seed as well, but at least it's not brown. The Phacelia's gone really brown and disgusting. So I've replaced that. So now we'll go and get some clary sage quickly. 20 clary sage. I'm also a little bit short on lavender, which was for the tables, so I've just got 10 fairly short cosmos to replace the lavender. Right, I've really got to go to work now. I haven't finished the list. We'll have to do that when I get back. See you later. Okay, I'm back from work and I've just been looking through the list now to work out what I still need to cut. And actually, I've just crossed a couple of things off because I think there are so many branching stems on some of the things. I think, for example, the Beplurum, I don't think the colour's really going to fit, and I think I'm going to have enough branches on the Greek Cress and Ami. So I'm not going to cut that. So all I need to go out now and cut are the sweet peas and just cut the last 12 of the Nigella. The sweet peas I'm going to cut slightly different lengths. Where do I write it down? So basically the ones for the table centres can just be short stems, so they'll be much quicker to cut. So okay, so I need 50. If I've got 50, I'm not sure, and 14 much longer stems. So no time like the present, let's go and crack on. A little bit of a delay getting to the sweet peas. I had an ingenious thought that I should put something in the slow cooker so that later I don't have very much cooking to do. So anyway, we got here eventually. Let's cut the long stems first. So 15 long stems. I'm going to go around the other side actually because I want, if I can, the pale lilacs. Okay, so got a really nice pale blue lilac here, and I'm just going to work my way down the stem and cut in there. And then this is the tricky bit now. I just need to find a few tendrils where he's holding on and very carefully get him out. Oh, it's reattached him as he goes out. Okay, so then I've got a nice long stem sweet pea. So I need 15 of those. So I've definitely got a shortfall on the sweet peas, but again, I think I can work with what I've got now. I'm just going to take it all in now and say that is the wedding cut. Okay, so phase 1 of wedding flowers is complete. The flowers and foliage are cut. So I'm going to do several videos for this rather than doing one really long video. So that's a wrap for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and in the next one we'll do probably the tables, but my head's a bit of a pickle, so I'm not promising that. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.